Hey y'all, hey. I'm gonna try to get through this without crying since I'm putting my makeup on. I'm getting ready to get out here and do a little bit of, me time. You understand me? I was just listening to a panel and I really am not completely sure of the entire message of the panel, but the part I came in on, they were talking about single mothers, talking about, particularly black single moms, listen. At some point they started talking about how it used to be, whereas when you got a young girl pregnant or whatever, that the father said, we are not making broken homes here. You're going to marry this young girl. But it also was a time, they talked about a time when young girls got pregnant and there was such a shame and a stigma attached to it that, you had to go before the church and basically apologize to the church for shaming your family, etc., etc. And it reminded me of a conversation I had with my mom a few years back. And this is why it's important for you all to talk to your elders. It's so important. And to share your family stories, because for all accounts, I could have not been here. Okay? Because during those times, they didn't have where you could legally, end that pregnancy. And in those times, because it was such a stigma, and your child, a girl who got pregnant was, a 3 or 4, whether she was or not, it may have been her first time, whatever, the stigma that went along with it was amazing. And my mom shared with me that, back in those times, church wasn't just a place where you went for worship. That's where you did a lot of your socializing with. And so being that my mom was involved in a lot of committees and usher board and things like that, she shared that when she got pregnant with me, because she got pregnant with me at, she had me at 17, so I guess she would have got pregnant at 16 or something like that. That they took her out of all, the church members took her out of all her positions that she was in, because it wasn't, you couldn't be out in public like that. And also they sent you to a separate school. Now I understand part of it may have been because, again, the sensitivity, not the sensitivity, but the safety aspect of it, but also part of it was, again, they sent you away. What really got me though, hold on. What really got me, though, is when my mom shared with me, I said, how did Pawpaw find out you were pregnant? And she said that my aunt, my mom started ditching school and would go to my older aunt's house to sleep all the time. Because if anybody been pregnant, you get sleepy. So she was ditching. Well, I guess it was this one time that, after a while, the school contacted my grandfather and to say that my mom was missing school. And so he had contacted, I'm paraphrasing, he had contacted my aunt, and my aunt said, she's here, blah, blah, blah. And mommy said she'd never forget it was a Wednesday night because they had Wednesday night Bible study. And mommy said that Pawpaw said that he would pick her up. And so mommy said that Pawpaw said, why are you missing school? Why are you missing so much school? And my grandfather, was pretty much a single dad. So she said, I'm missing school because I'm going to have a baby. And mommy said that she just kind of winced because she thought that, he was going to hit her or whatever. Because, again, you have to consider the time. And my grandfather was superintendent of Deacon Board. And she said, my grandfather said to her, it's going to be all right. I'm going to take care of you. I'm not going to let nobody mistreat you. So it was a shameful thing that she had to experience with the church, but she had the support and love of her father, and he helped her through that. And then I was born. And again, dealing with the stigma, my mom shared an account that this one church lady was very disrespectful to her concerning me. And when my grandfather found out, he let her have it. And for what my mom said, my grandfather said, don't you ever talk about my child or my grandchild. My granddaughter's behind looks better than your face. Mommy said that woman never said nothing to her again. But when I think about that, I was a granddaddy's girl. And there's a protection that a father can give like no other. Because we all are fathered by somebody. But it takes a special man to be a daddy. And my grandfather was a daddy. He was a daddy. We're missing daddies, y'all. We're missing daddies. And I think about everything that I tried to do in my life is because I knew how hard it was for my mom. I knew that there was a certain amount of shame that even I experienced growing up at that time, because when I would go to high school, they would say, well, who is your mom? Or who are your parents? And I would say who my mom was and say, well, where's your daddy? So there was a stigma that came along with being a single parent, a single mother. And whether you could agree it's right or wrong, children should be raised with two parents. There's a balance that is required that a mother and a father give to children. And one of the reasons I'm here is to say we all make mistakes. Hell, I had my daughter at 27 and I was not married at the time I had her. And I was ashamed. I was ashamed because I knew better. I was ashamed because I saw what my mother went through. I was ashamed because I knew how difficult it would be. Not impossible, but difficult. But it's because of that I made some different decisions. I made some different decisions as to the direction I wanted my life to go, even as a single mother. I didn't continue repeating it, even though I wanted to have more children. I think one of the most difficult things was to tell my grandfather. But of course, even then, he was a daddy. Man, I don't know why I went off on this tangent, but it makes me so excited and grateful for everything that I was able to accomplish based on the sacrifices that were made for me to even be here. Be here. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Take that with you.